Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Before I start, let me introduce myself. My name is Haera and I'm from class D. Okay, in this opportunity, I would like to explain about the passive voice. Okay, let's see the mind map above. The first is definition of passive voice. Passive voice is changing the emphasis of the sentence. The event of the result is more important than person who causes it to happen. Then there are eight forms of the verbs in passive voice. There is present progressive, past progressive, present perfect, present simple, past simple, future simple, and the last is future perfect. You can see the mind map above for the forms and example. There are three characteristics in passive voice. The first is a form of the to be, like is, are, was, were, be, been, or being. The second one is a past participle of verb ending in ed or en, except irregular verb like keep. The last is a prepositional phrases beginning with by. So we can recognize whatever is passive voice when in the sentence the prepositional phrases always begin with. Okay, then passive voice have a function. There is to be distinct or tactful by not naming the agent. The second one is to emphasize the object or party receiving the action. The last is to emphasize the action instead on the door. Okay, let's see the uses of the passive voice. When it's important who does the action in a sentence. When we don't know who does the action in a sentence, we don't wait to say to when does in action a sentence. When it's obvious who does the action in a sentence. Next, in passive voice, some verbs can have two objects. Example, we give the police the information. Okay, in a sentence above the words police as object 1 and the words information as object 2. So it's possible to make two passive sentence. Okay, because the police were given the information or the information was given to police. And then in passive voice, with the verbs that have two objects and the other verbs possible which can have two objects are ask, offer, pay, refuse, and show, touch, and tell. Okay, then there are kinds of passive voice. There is the first is stative passive usage of verb. Three form is used as an adjective. Example, I am confused. The second one is normal passive. Example, she was advised. And the last is agent passive usage when performance is mentioned. Example, cake was made by her. Remember, if we want to say who does the action, we use by example, 200 people are employed by my grandfather. If somebody does the action with the help of instrument, we use with. Example, meat should be cut with a knife. I think that's all my explanation about passive voice. Little information and motivation for me. I will remind you that in you order better understand what the passive voice is. Everyone should practice making a sentence or using what is part of the passive voice in the sentence. Okay, thank for your attention and your participation. See you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.